rights that are determined for them, and they can move forward with utilizing what the security interest created. How do you feel?
Right, that's good. So yeah, they need certain triggers and actions to take place in order for them to use those protections from those acts.
And so that that definite amount could be right there. Otherwise, that particular
Right.
section or part won't be fulfilled until particular meaning is brought to it according to the agreement and contract as well as the UCC. They've done
Awesome.
their part according to the agreement. You got the statement. Now it's time to move on. It's with the proceeding. How would you like to proceed? You
Right.
always have to state meaning to that. That's what I'm going to make known and shown in LA
Awesome.
with, in a different form than we did, Houston. I'm going to use the statements in this case so
Cool.
that, individuals can just understand the rights that they have as it relates to all things and just to how they can proceed with, whatever was initially, substantially created or made. I should say it was just made, not created. It was made. Creation and creating does not come about until individual is involved. We know that.
Right.
So action. Do you understand A and B and how we got to action before we start to dive into this very important information?
I think so. I think that they are looking for in within the context of the contract, they are looking for words and phrases that are in addition to that are contained in all the other articles in UCC that apply to that particular article, so that which are subject to those definitions
So
that
that means
apply to that particular article, so they can make the action.
absolutely. So each and every, if you don't dive deep into the context, at least just take time to go look at Article 1 through 9 definition section. It'll
Mm.
tell you enough.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So in action, tell me everything that is conspicuous to you.
Within subsection one.
Yeah, we're right here at 1 where they're
Okay.
speaking about action. Tell
Right.
me what is conspicuous to you here.
For me, I see a capital A in action. I see the comma after proceeding. I see,
So let me stop you 1 second before we proceed. Do you see action?
yeah,
Do you think that there's one or more conspicuously?
probably, well, I would say one in this situation.
Okay, so it's two. Do you see air quote action?
Yeah.
That's one. Do you see the
Uh-huh.
comma?
Oh, yeah, the
There's
comma.
another. So there's
Yeah,
actions that will take place. Some
that makes sense.
individuals take actions in a judicial proceeding where they're doing things legally. I don't take action that way.
Yeah, great point.
So one or more, one or
Makes
more,
sense. Yep.
one or more, one or more, one
Mm,
or more, one or more, one or more, one
cool.
or more, one or more. So you may could consider yourself a buyer, but you're not a person.
Right.
Conspicuous things are very important. You must develop that skill so that you don't take things too personally, but you're able to individualize it for each and every person.
Mm,
It's
yep,
the only way
really
I'm able
good.
to help each and every person that I help.
Yeah.
Do you understand or have any thoughts or feelings about that? Do you see?
No, I see that.
Right.
That's really, really good.
But you saw you didn't see it before, right?
Right.
So now you're developing a skill. Do
Yep.
not lose it. Your mind needs that so that you
Yeah.
don't get caught up in one thing and totally dismiss the other.
Right.
We're in a sharing field, all energies, everything's welcome, no prejudice. So that means no judicial system. Do you understand? We as individuals should not be in a court against a third party when we too can be seen as a third party. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That agreement in these parties and what was already made don't have nothing to do with you. Why would you go stand in front of the
Absolutely.
judge?
Yep. Yep. Why are they bringing us in there? It's uh, Let's bring in the third party who doesn't really know what's going on,
Yeah,
not a
that's
part of the
so
agreement.
crazy.
So stupid. Yeah. Man.
So it's dumb.
Yeah.
That means that it's not professional.
Right.
Not for us as individuals. It isn't. That's no way to conduct ourselves unless you
Right.
have a license and you are an attorney or you are a judge or you are just court appointed.
Right. Yep. They're just trying to pass liability off to somebody who doesn't have the
Yeah, shift
competence.
the burden basically.
Yeah.
Not even necessary liability because the liability is always going to remain with a bank. A courthouse is a type of bank, but within
Yeah.
that particular type of bank is more so shifting the burden.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
That's where we get the opportunity to determine rights. So it makes it better for everyone involved, even though I may know something else. If we just stick to the rights, I don't have to acknowledge that. Unless, of course, this individual say something. I just
Mm.
won't.
Yep.
What else is conspicuous here? You said proceeding, so yes. What else?
Yep. Recruitment includes recruitment.
Not includes. There's
Recruitment.
nothing in includes that is conspicuous to us. So I don't have to look at it. If I do go one before because that is absolutely okay and one after, it's because I'm trying to see some detail about recoupment. And the only thing that I can phantom right now in my mind is the idea is that proceedings include recoupment, but not a judicial one. They don't have to take you to court to recoup. They can repossess.
Mm.
So it's
Okay.
important to use the exercise and the skill to first look at things that are only conspicuous because it is defined in the UCC. And outside of that, it provides you with a summary. Just like they conspicuously saw you go to all those stores with their device and you make all of those purchases. We want to first look at conspicuous to gather a summary. And then after, we want to look into the detail to get the final and the big picture. No different than
Mm.
what happens after they provide you a summary and you add to.
Okay.
What needs to be determined will be determined. Stop or yield so that you can get the answers. How you feel about that?
Which is why in the calls you just stick to the script and you let them answer.
Pretty much. It is to be determined based on my right to make that call
Yeah.
or based on my right to write or based on my right to determine other proceedings because we don't have to do it the way that it was implied because the UCC just told me that we have a repeal against what's implied. Do you understand?
Mm,
So if I back
no.
it up and we look at the caption sections, there's a construct comes my way. I have something to say against it. So that means I can repeal it. I can say something else.
Mm,
It's not just that. There's more. There's the addition to it because in part two, in the way that we interpret, meaning needs to be stated, and that's something that needs to be contained. So whatever is implied, I have something to say against it. That's the way I decide to proceed. That's the right that I have. That way, actions can be determined and not just a action of a person who wanted to do things based off their very own meaning stated. We need all of us. Do you understand how you feel? Talk to me for a second.
I might be tracking, maybe. Um, so yeah, we're using whatever is conspicuous to determine what they are trying to say in order to include whatever it needs to be added to
Right,
that
whatever
context.
meaning or feeling that I have, because that's important.
Okay, yeah.
I see what they feel. It's implied. I read it. I saw it.
Yeah, it's implied. Okay, yep.
But now
Yep.
it's my time.
They just need what you feel. They need what you are.
And
Uh,
that applied to particular parts of whatever this what was implied and particular articles of the UCC with their special rules for you individual.
that's
They'll
why you might
apply
say
that.
like I uh, feel like their account information is lacking or something like that to give them
I
the
don't really even have to say that because my action is going to show them, or the act is going to show them that I recognize and I know that a person is coming from lack. I automatically
right.
know that
Okay.
by my act itself. Me doing what's required, me using words, is me
Right.
including phrases of another person that's defined already in the sections of our agreement and the sections of the UCC.
Sweet.
So it's there already. I am it. And I'm demonstrating it. And I'm showing it in action without taking the action.
Right. Because you're letting them use their rights to take the
Yes,
action.
absolutely. I'm allowing for them and
Yeah.
giving them permission to use their right to determine what should happen now, what
Yeah.
should happen next, what
Right.
is the present value now, who is this other person. Only they have connections to them because it's internal for them.
Yep. Which is why we wait for the written determination. Because
Absolutely.
we're not making the determination. They are making the determination. We're just waiting for it. We're giving them the opportunity to make that action to
Which is
determine and
which is
determine.
considered in the UCC a phrase money allowance,
Okay.
medium of exchange allowance, going from a rep to customer experience to supervisor to resolutions. That's money allowance, a
Okay.
medium of exchange.
Cool.
That includes transfers. How do you feel?
Includes transfers. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, what else is conspicuous? You got proceeding, you got recoupment.
Yeah. I like rights also.
Why? It's not
Yeah.
conspicuous.
That's not. Oh.
No. What is it about it that's conspicuous to you?
I thought the S might make it conspicuous.
No, it's like a normal S to me. If
Okay.
that S was capitalized, then yeah, it's
Makes sense.
conspicuous. If that
Okay.
S had parentheses, yeah, that's conspicuous. Otherwise, what we were taught in school under the state, that looks pretty normal.
Okay.
What doesn't? What is conspicuous? What else? After recoupment.
I guess all of the words in front of a comma make
So you
are
got
conspicuous.
counterclaim, set off,
Mhm.
set off, equity, and that's it. You just
Right.
know you have the right as it relates to equity. You have the right as it relates to counterclaims. You have the right as it relates to recoupment. It's going to include a person who do things legally in a judicial proceeding. So there's a legal side and there's a lawful side. How do you feel?
Right. So the comma is saying that there is potentially another
Action.
form or action of whatever that is word in front of it. And
Absolutely.
basically basically pointing to lawful versus legal in many
Absolutely.
cases.
Letting us
Okay.
know that action is recoupment, action is counterclaim, action is set off, action is equity. That's legal. Action also includes other proceeding where rights are determined, and that's lawful. So this is why I keep telling everyone we don't take the action. We're just going to act legally. They take the action. They use and deal with equity. They start off accounts. They have counterclaims against the other person who was aggrieved. They can recoup payment and what needs to be paid from them if you determine the rights that you have. If not, you may be an individual who determined that you have the right to pay as it relates to legal proceedings, and you will. So that means you're publicly sued or fined.
Right.
How do you feel about that summary and how we got that and start talking that way? Do you understand we have this word "and" right here, meaning I'm not going to be prejudiced against anyone who likes to do things legally. I just know that there's similar
Right.
import and it includes things that are lawfully. There isn't an or here, so I cannot be prejudiced. It includes both. However, I back a person in a party lawfully, legally. I don't try to be them legally. I just back them legally and I remain lawfully and they'll back me legally. So I don't have to cross over into
Mm,
the legal realm.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, what comes before and then after are two separate uh
It's like Simon says.
yeah. Yeah, but you in which yeah, we're not prejudiced against what you choose to do or choose to how you choose to perform, but there are two different ways
Do this.
you
So make
can
sure
do
it's
this.
lawful
Yeah,
and make sure it's not legal, because as an individual, you do not enter into commerce or trade. We are set free from the slave trade. We
right,
have moved on to chattel slavery now. And it's based on each and every last one of us doing what we promised to do and what we are committed to do. It could be as simple as that.
that's awesome.
So now, after we get the summary, we go into detail. And we already knew this from the summary that clearly is one type of action that's legal and is one type of action that's lawful, because in the beginning they started off letting us know there's two actions.
Yeah, right,
But we were able to see it conspicuously as we began to look at different words and phrases and look at things that, was required, like having this word "and" right here showing that we're not prejudiced, we're together. So we should always have the mindset to work with from the beginning, even though that action is a little bit different than mine. I still plan to work with you.
right. Mm,
Action in the sense of a judicial proceeding includes recoupment, it includes counterclaim, it includes set off, it includes suits of equity, and it includes any and all. Anytime you see a word like any, you can replace it with the word like all. Any and all other proceeding in which rights are determined. Each and every last one of us has rights. So that means that we have a right in an action that another could take legally, and we want to help them in that proceeding. Do you
right.
understand?
Yeah,
It's
yep.
not that we take the action, but we do help them with the action. Not in action, we're
Right.
of
Of it. Yeah.
action. What are your thoughts about how we just read and determined that? They just told us some good stuff. So it's to be determined how we act after that, or if we can walk in the power of knowing that I have rights. That's all I need to have. That's enough. I'm enough. What I determine in the meaning that I state and the way I proceed matters. And it must be in a lawful manner because of that matter. A matter is a
Mm,
problem, a manner is education. So, because I have education and knowledge, I understand the right that I have in the matter of another legally. And that's how I'm able to apply parts like credit and anything that's there of any statements that should be there.
right.
That's it. There's nothing more to it.
Mm.
How
That's
do you,
awesome.
how
So
do you feel
as an
about reading?
individual, we have the rights to reject or express ourselves and communicate, which allows them to determine in any other proceeding
I don't
what.
reject them. I accept
Yeah.
them. I'm not prejudiced against them.
Okay.
I don't reject them. I accept them. I give thanks anyway because I know there's another way. So I don't reject them, but I do determine the rights that I have as it relates to dealing with them, performing with them, anything of the nature that includes them and what they could do. I know I have rights in that, and I know not to take it too far.
Cool.
Tell me how you feel about reading action that way. And it's not a normal way of reading. A normal person would have came here and said action in the sense of the judicial proceeding includes recoupment, counterclaims, set off, and the suits of equity, and any other proceeding in which rights are determined. What would that person have got from that?
Yeah, they would have taught the legal. They
And
would
they
have
wouldn't have
gotten
got
legal.
nothing like we just got for sure.
No, no, but adding the conspicuous nature of the definition makes
It's
all more
how we
sense.
read.
And yeah, yeah, exactly. And quotation, the comma, uh, or uh, any and all shows that shows that they've constructed that sentence that were to mean something different than what it is where we were taught in school how to read.
So that means that's letting you know that there's always one or more, and no matter what, you're the only one there. It's time for you to act like it and wake up to it.
What do you mean we're the only one there?
Because you're dealing with a party and a person, and they're not conscious.
Oh, we're the only like individual there.
Yes, you are the
Yeah.
only one there. You move those parties and pieces. You empower them.
We're the only mind that's present.
Only living thing there.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yep.
You're the only one there. It's just you against you.
Dang.
You against you in a system that was already made, in my eyes, to perfection. Because that's the point of Article 9. Perfection.
Geez,
You
that's just
only
like
need to go
trading.
and change the law.
Yep.
You get the principles that'll never change. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no more I could keep teaching. It's right here in black and white.
Yeah.
But you have to see it. And when we started off, you didn't see it. So individuals don't see it. I'm not going to be prejudiced against them. I'm just going to know that they can't see and they can't read.
Totally. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because guess
Abs.
what? They can determine one day that they want to learn and discover. And that's what
Yep.
the very next section of this article is about. Notice and knowledge when we do learn and discover. So I'm going to stop and go to that section.
That's awesome. It's literally like trading. If you the structure and everything, all of that's there. If you don't know how to read it, you're gonna get crushed. But it's usually
Yes.
you that are against yourself. You're beating up yourself. It's that's usually how it goes. But if you can just follow
Yeah. So
the
welcome to the
stream
trade
and
and a
everything.
new
Yeah.
welcome to the trade and a new reform of slavery.
Jeez. Wow.
But you can make money.
Yep. Right.
They made it so
Yep.
everybody can make money, so it ain't that bad no more. Allegedly.
Yep. That's
People
awesome.
still see that as a bad thing, so I had to throw in allegedly.
Nice. Yeah.
So we definitely gonna finish the definition section. I need you to understand that you never start something and don't finish it. You never start something in the middle. You never start something in the end. You start at the
Mm.
beginning and you see it through. Do you understand?
Yeah, you're talking about each section,
Everything.
each subsection. Yeah.
Everything and all things.
Cool. Cool. I like that.
We have had enough of doing things in part. Just stop
Yeah,
it. You got the power to stop it.
that's awesome. I love that.
Don't go jump to Article 3 when it's Article 1. Don't come here and do that. Your interpretation is going to be off. Do you understand that?
Mm, right. Yep. I do.
Don't start the definition section and read number 1 and think that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and what follows isn't important. Don't do that.
Right.
I'm guiding you and I'm aiding you. So we just had conversation about action. And I need you to tie that to notice and knowledge so that you can know the difference between us and normal persons or people.
Mm,
It's because of what they know, what they haven't learned, what they haven't discovered yet, versus us who do know, who are knowledgeable, who have learned, who have discovered, and who have knowledge, actual knowledge. This section talks about that difference and an exception of a person and an individual. It's only about here and maybe a couple of other articles where they're going to identify the word individual. In a lot of those sections where you are included in other particular articles, they're just going to have special rules apply to individuals and then they're going to proceed with persons details because they don't know anything about you. Do you understand
yeah.
that they do know that special rules apply? Do you have any thoughts or any questions about what I just said, or how you feel?
I think that makes sense. Because well, I love what you're saying about having to finish it because a lot of people, that's what they do with the UCC. They just pick and choose, but they don't have the full context and they don't have the full meaning behind with it as it moves along the articles in the UCC.
And
So
it'll
really,
cause
really
war.
important. Right. Yeah. Exactly right. And then they come from yeah, they have a misunderstanding and they misapplication.
So that means
Um,
that there will always be casualties.
right. Yeah.
That means that you should expect the UCC to talk about that.
Mm,
Do you understand? Because we know that. I see the world. I see struggle. I see things. I see it.
sure.
The UCC
Right.
said that they're a casualty, a victim.
Mm, Mm.
So we're gonna get to that section too because they talk about it. We cannot get there without understanding that there's gonna be some casualty. There's gonna be some loss. There's gonna be
Right.
some direct. They already told us in the beginning though, but they began to give us a reason why. So they began to go into detail about casualties. How do you feel? Any thoughts or
Mm.
questions?
No, I think that all makes sense. That as we as an individual, one articles 1 and 2 primarily relate to us the most,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to be able to read conspicuously in order to comprehend and understand where we are in the context of our agreements and contracts. That way, a person can
Do their job, fulfill
do their
their
job,
commitment,
make their, yeah, determine their rights and get
complete the
another
promise,
involved. Yeah,
complete the promise to pay, complete the promise to give notice,
right.
complete the promise to notify another.
Yeah, and us as individuals need to stop reading person or taking reading personally. Just read
What's
conspicuously.
provided? Yes, what is
Yeah,
given? You got it. And they feel like that. So they're gonna tell you, go read your agreement. Go look at
right.
this.
Yeah,
Because to
right.
them, they believe that it's already readily understandable.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's as clear as they can make it
Without
conspicuously.
assuming. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're not gonna. Yeah, their job isn't to be sugarcoat or walk you through like a baby or micromanage you
It's not happening.
because they don't have discrimination, just like we shouldn't when we interact and have relationship with these persons,
Yep. And
don't
if
want
we
to
are, we
discriminate
taking it
against
too
them.
personal.
Right. Yeah, right. Makes sense. We're here for they're here for trade, and we're here to for the consideration and
Help them with that
to
dealing.
yeah help them with their
We didn't
dealing,
get
their
to
practice.
agreement yet. So that's why you can't really finish that. Because if we would have read past action, they would have told us that.
Mm,
So that's a prime example as to why you don't skip nothing. Go in
cool,
order. Law is order. Go in order.
cool.
So 1-202. Notice and knowledge. Within that phrase, notice and knowledge, they have conspicuously noticed. So these notices that we get, we have to understand that they were made based off what someone knows, but there's corresponding meaning and it has a different meaning within knowledge. Just like a person in a bank and a party has different meaning within bankruptcy laws. We have to notice certain things as it relates to another conspicuously so that we have knowledge. Otherwise, we're just going to know some things. So this section breaks down the difference between what a person may know and what an individual may be knowledgeable of. It's the only place where they're going to mention individual outside other places where they just say special rules apply. A, F, person. Notice. Person. One. So one person notice a person, and F, and it's different than the person that may be described in A. Do you understand? They are distinguishing the difference between a person and the individual.
Mm,
That's one. That's rule number one. That's what everybody needs to understand. You're not a person.
right.
Or if you feel like you a person, guess what you're not? The person. So you have to
The
know the
person.
difference between a person and the person before
Yes,
we get it.
exactly. Yeah,
A person and the person is different than the individual or a individual that could be helping this organization. They're different. We're all different. But we're looked at in the
right.
same in the eyes of the law. The only thing that separates us is what we know and what we have knowledge of. That's it. Other than that, we're all the same. How do you feel?
That's awesome.
Do you see how I read conspicuously?
Yeah, I am starting to. Yep.
It.
Yep.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm
So no, I was just gonna say a person. It's different than the person.
two
Personhood.
totally different
Yeah.
persons,
Yeah.
conspicuously.
Exactly. Notice in quotations
Mm-hmm.
F,
Mm-hmm.
what it's subject to.
And just A, period. AF. The difference in A and F letting me know that something
Yeah.
different. If I go one before, it's subject. If I go one
Yeah.
before, yeah, it's subsection. But it's from one thing to another. And that's what I need to see. So it's from one person who's a subject to another person who's a subsection of that person. Do you see?
Mm, I do.
So it's not necessarily me. I'm not you. I'm
Right.
Kamaya. I'm
Yeah.
an individual. It's a person who may be considered you, who may can consider we, who may can consider us, but that's not me. That's not the word that represent me. Do you understand? So I
Yeah.
won't read anything when they say you and take it too personally because it's not me unless I
'Cause-
see
yeah.
individual or my name
Right. Exactly.
that a lot of people believe is the organization and all of the other stuff is tied to it. I don't know. That hasn't been proven as a fact. However, I get it. It too. It's about it. It again. That's the basis. It's it. We don't have to call it stuff. Those who have knowledge, we gonna call it it. Those who know gonna call it it too. Until we figure out why it exists. Do you understand?
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. It being the instrument, it being the thing.
It being an item. It
Yeah.
being itemized. Just it. Just it. We'll label it as we go. As
Hmm.
there's
Yeah.
rebirth, as
Okay.
it's born, as it's liquidated, as it's rehabilitated. We'll start to name it. But in the action, you better not call it nothing. Do you understand? Because you could be factually wrong.
Mm. Right. Exactly.
Understanding that there's two actions, there's two bearers, there's two bill of ladings, there's two documents, there's two holders. You don't want to be wrong in that circumstance. So it's it.
No. Yeah.
People used to hate when I say it, thinking I was speaking in code or thinking that I was being secret and I don't know
Mm.
what they was thinking, but it's code. Literally. UCC is it.
That's hilarious because they're trying to understand when the whole point's not to try to understand.
Yes, like everybody keeps trying to figure out something they don't have to figure out. I hate when
Yeah.
people come to me like that. Like, what you trying to figure out? Because I'm gonna guarantee you, whatever it is completely wrong as it relates to all of the facts and all of the circumstances. So
Yeah.
please do not come to me with that. Because this ain't
That's
that. It
good.
ain't it.
That's good.
That's how I feel. They don't understand that. It may come off rude. But look, fact is the fact. Just like how the reps don't want to hear nothing that's not, I don't either. Not as it pertains to the facts, because the facts or a fact has already been created and made and is already there. Anything you need to be adding to,
Right.
be consistent, needs to be in reference. All of this extra stuff, no.
Yeah. That's why on our call, we're not talking about what was happening in the past. We're just talking about the present
No.
time. Hey, I just want to know delivery and make sure it's routing and I'll wait a written determination, but make sure you're confirming routing.
Because anything else, I don't know.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, how else? I don't
Exactly.
know. Individuals
Exactly.
have to step back and realize that they have been provided all they need to know and all that they have. The more and more we begin to lean into the feeling that all of our needs are met is the moment that all of our needs will be.
Awesome.
The more we fight it, the more it just won't be. So three, you gotta have some questions. You gotta ask some questions. You can't just ask no any old question because the person get that covered. Your job as an individual is to empower them. You have to ask empowering questions. So in
Mm.
subject A, they let us know the difference between a person and an individual is that a person just has questions, but an individual has some inquiries to those questions that's a little bit more empowering. It changes the circumstances. It changes things from just being a fact to the facts, all of them. But not if we don't have no questions about it or this thing that we have. Then provide it. How do you feel? F is going to touch on that because it's what they talk about an individual. If I'm saying we haven't provided something and we need to recognize it, F should be telling us about it. Don't you think? It's subject to it, and we're reading from A.
Mm. Right. Subject to it. Right.
So how do you feel about that conspicuous? I'm gonna go over one more time before I let you or your mind filter it. I'm read it all this time. I'm gonna stop. A F person notice person one it two it three question. Everybody around this world need to be questioning it. Do
Mm,
you understand?
yeah.
So tell me how you feel. What do you think about that conspicuous manner and what I just said after? How that conclusion that I could get after that? What are your thoughts on it?
I think that it helps you the conspicuous your annotations on the conspicuous. You can get to a that's the summary that you're getting. That when you pull out those conspicuous terms, the conspicuous things, then you can start to put a uh,
Idea.
an overview idea
Yeah.
of what they're trying to say.
And now I
That
know something needs to happen too with it.
right.
Why is
Because
somebody questioning it?
mm, yeah, it points you to
Discovery
yeah, okay, that's a clear word for it. Yeah.
without explaining it.
Right.
Discovery. And not only you, them too. They get to discover that whatever was implied, it's a repeal against it. That's a great discovery. That's a new discovery. That's a good discovery.
Mm,
Otherwise, it's going to be lost in lack. But the person had the question all along. Why haven't we continued this transaction? I'm going to put a person who is like me on notice, like an individual, and see what they have to say. We normally pay for that fact versus using that fact. Each and every statement, each and every each and everything we all have is a fact. We need to add an addition to it, to that article, that first page, that fact, so that they have all of the facts.
right.
If not, it's still going to be some questions. How do you feel?
Yeah. Yeah. But we need to question it so that
So
they're empowered to make the action,
take the action.
take the action. Sure.
I'll try to tell people don't be a taker. You're not a taker. You are not a taker. You are a giver. If
Sweet.
you have been provided, you should give. If you give, you shall receive. If you take, you might be a thief or blind.
Awesome.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I think so.
So, A, I'm going to read into detail. A is subject to subsection F. A person has notice of a fact if the person one has actual knowledge of it. So, a person obviously got a fact, and that's great. The person who received that fact, they actually got knowledge of it. They know why it exists. They know what's up. A person do. So in that case, if a person has knowledge, they have one job to do, maybe two, that's subject to F. Do you understand?
Yeah, I can see that.
Two, they have received a notice or notification of it. So a person has it and they have knowledge, but they also have knowledge that there's another person who's waiting to have a notification of it. That's going to be subject to the other person at F. Do you understand?
Yes.
Someone has already received. You can't say you received anything. You're not a person. Do you understand?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Another person is waiting to be provided what you feel you've received. So I want you just to
Yeah.
not say received and just be in position of always being provided for. You have
Right.
been provided something that is for another. You should use it.
Hmm.
It was received by a person who has actual knowledge of it and a couple of questions as to why it's incomplete. It's not accurate, but just incomplete as it relates to the notice or notification of it. That means that the wrong person might have it. Do you understand?
Right. Yeah.
Or three, from all of the facts, my possibility and idea that maybe it's some more persons who need to have it. All of the facts of that. What the other person said that you get this. That's true. That's a fact. But there's other persons who should have it too. So let's get all of the facts and all of the circumstances that's known to the person, not just a person, but the person. The person is
Mhm.
better than just a person. The person can be named. It could be Josh. It could be me. You know, of all of the facts and circumstances, I'm pretty sure the person is in a particular situation. And at that time in question, they have reasons to know that it exists and they should be knowledgeable as to why. I know why it and that thing exists. So I have knowledge at that time. There may be another individual who don't know why it exists. They may have some questions from a fact. Just as long as they have the ability to see a fact, notice a fact, and have some questions about a fact, another person hasn't done anything wrong against you. They actually put you on notice of what you needed to notice. You have everything that you need. You just need to acknowledge it. How do you feel?
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, how do you feel about the detail now? We come to a conclusion with a summary, like, okay, but then did the detail support it or did it not support it?
It did support it.
So that means we were right.
Yeah.
If anything that is supposed to be of support does not hold, it fails. That means that it'll fail under scrutiny and it's not right.
That's great.
You understand how you feel?
Yeah, well, it's almost like adding confluences in a trade. If you're able to have the summary and that detail matches or it supports each other, then you know you're
On the
it's
right side of the
true.
market.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're going with the trend. Yeah,
So B, knowledge knows. There's difference between a person
right.
who knows and the individual who knows and the person who has knowledge and the individual who has knowledge. The way we do things as it relates to it and why it exists is just completely different. It's two different worlds, two different actions, two different acts, two different ideas, two different circumstances, and way more than just one fact.
Hmm.
So B is letting you know that there's a difference between knowledge and know. A lot of individuals know things, they may not be knowledgeable of some things.
Right.
Know means actual knowledge. What's actual? What's actual and what's real? We should know that. We should feel knowledge. Like I'm a live living being. I know some things is different for me than it is for a person. Have
Hmm.
knowledge of that. That's when you begin to awake and have actual knowledge of what exists and why these things exist. And then you begin to provide reason. Everything has reason. Everything was made and created and done for a purpose. We have to have actual knowledge about that versus just knowing about that because knows has a corresponding meaning, meaning that what a person would do who know is different than what a person would do who has knowledge. And
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to get us to wake up to here. How do you feel?
that's good. Yep, I can see what's conspicuous, knowledge and knows.
And that's
I
it.
can, yeah, that's it in that one. I can see the detail talking about the difference between what somebody actually has experiential knowledge, essentially, versus inexperiential knowledge, what they think they know.
Being any type of person or individual. We're not prejudiced against
Right.
anybody. This is everybody.
Yep. Because the conspicuous nature of both of those words, knowledge and knows, has two different. There's another meaning, two different meanings, and that
I'm
that could be
knowledgeable of a lot of stuff, but I don't let them know that.
right.
I continue on with my know and knowledge.
Right.
And I wait for the great to unfold because I have that knowledge and I know what they will discover because of what I have discovered. So I have no worries. You may know payment mean whatever.
Hmm.
However, there's corresponding meaning to whatever you think it is.
Yeah. Right.
And the meaning of payment, someone actually has knowledge on what that is.
Yeah.
How do you feel? You get it?
No, I totally do. Yep.
Just because I know what payment is and you may not know what payment is, don't mean that you can't discover and learn. And that's what C is talking about. So it don't matter if you've been paying cash this whole time. It don't matter if you didn't know at the time of agreement. You could discover and learn at any time. Do you understand? It's never too
Yeah.
late.
Right.
Discover. It's more than one discovery. Learn. It's more than one type of things to learn about. And that's it. So you may discover and learn payment meant that, but I know and have knowledge that and learned that payment mean this.
Right. Yep.
Discover, learn, or words of similar import. Like what you think payment mean and what I think payment mean. It can refer to knowledge rather than just the reason to know. So whatever reason you know that payment means this, that's great. I have similar import for it, and my words and what I learned and discovered, it brings new meaning and refer to knowledge as it relates to payment versus just a reason to know. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Your whatever's an individual's interpretation, it can be a corresponding meaning, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's actual knowledge. But they can discover and learn what that
That you're
what that
right.
yeah,
They can
the
discover and learn what exists. So whatever you feel and whatever you think and what ideas you have about it can exist if you just bring it to life. If you don't, it won't exist. It'll be non-existent. So your job is the burden of establishing
mm,
the fact that what you say is more existent than is non-existent. Because I
that's
have
good.
it and I have knowledge about it. And I
Right.
understand this fact. And I understand that this fact, according to all agreements, shall and should be bargained, not negotiated. Bargained.
Yeah.
That means I don't have
Mm,
to accept it as is. I can make it new. I can renew it. It can be born again. It can be fresh. It can be a brand new idea. I can add to it. I am a creator.
right. Because you're knowledgeable.
Yeah. And I know that. And I know a
Yeah.
person know that too. They just
Yeah.
wait for me to notify them and give them the idea. And that's what D is talking about.
Dang it. Awesome. Wow.
Conspicuous.
Man,
Person
that's cool.
notifies, gives, course. So in the course of whatever we may think, whatever we may believe, whatever we may feel, there's another person who's always waiting to give what we have been provided, and there's always another person waiting to be notified that we've given it, not that we've received it. Do you understand? You could be a person who received if you want, but that excludes the person.
Right.
So just don't be a person.
Yeah, exactly.
Be an individual that gives. Be an individual that notifies the person because you'll help that person. And then they can
Yeah.
get that person with actual knowledge involved. Otherwise, there's just going to be a person with implied something implied to say, and it won't be any knowledge from the person with better expression, gooder, better, greater.
Mm, awesome.
That's all they need us to know. If we go into detail,
Wow.
a person notifies or gives a notification, or a person notifies and gives a notification to another person by taking such steps as may be reasonably required to inform the other person in an ordinary course. You're at home. You're in the course of a buyer's business, a seller's business, a creditor's business. It's reasonably required of them to inform you of the information in which they want to use in these reasonable steps. It's reasonable steps. They have to provide you a notice, but that exact same notice needs to be used to put a person on notification. And they need you to do what's required in order for that to happen, since you have the information in general. It's whether or not the other person actually comes to know of it. A lot of individuals dismiss the address request service or electronic request service from another person. They ignore that notification. But that person who received it, who has knowledge of what that other person want to do, took the necessary steps to inform you of it, like making delivery to you of it.
Mm,
Whether you come to actually know that that's what that person was doing, was giving you information that was to be used and not trying to collect the debt, that's going to be on you as it relates to how you respond, or even if you can correlate. However, whether you know it or not, that person was contacting you to inform you that there's another person. And that other person is in a course of business where they take steps that are seasonable, meaning through the cycle or during
right.
a period. And we really want that person involved because what they have to say and what they come to know of and what they're knowledgeable of is completely different than this summary I just made for you.
Right.
How do you feel?
Yeah, that's awesome.
What is your mind doing?
Hmm. Uh, Trying to yeah, processing the kind of new verbiage wrapped around the process that we've been talking about the whole time.
Are
Adding the
you
conspicuous, trying to add the conspicuousness to the skill of being able to determine, okay, what it is when we're provided with that thing, how we respond to
to
get
it?
the person involved. Yeah.
So what is your eyes doing?
I'm looking, trying to find what is conspicuous.
So it's trying to see.
Yeah.
But you know that you used your other eye to see first, right?
Mm, mm-hmm.
You use your mind. And then your
Mm,
mind connected to your eyes. And then your eyes is gonna send messages right back to your mind. Do you
mm,
understand that?
mm-hmm.
What is your ears doing?
Listening.
Is it going in one and out the other? Because you know you got two of them. One is listening. What the other one doing?
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. Could be going in and out. Yeah.
So I mean, you need one ear to listen and one ear to hear, so that you can connect your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
mind, and heart.
Yep.
It's what's in the middle. What your heart doing right now?
Yeah. Beaten.
Is it fast? Is it slow?
Slow.
So you yield to the information to get your ears and your eyes and your mind to connect. Don't let your mind or have your mind racing when your eyes is there to help and your ears is here to help.
Yeah.
So E,
That's good.
conspicuous only. F, person receives when one person's attention. Two, contract. When they got one person that's paying attention to that contract, that person is the one who is responsible and who has received whenever they got it. And there was another person who was related to that contract who received it before you did. We want to get that person's attention because F is involved. How do you feel?
Yep.
Individual is involved in A and F, dealing with a person or that person and getting that person's attention. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If we don't do that, then we didn't do what we committed to do and acknowledged in the contract. Do you understand? A lot of individuals are doing that. They are receiving a or have been provided a notice from a person and what's necessary under the circumstance for the contract. No one's doing it. A person, nobody's contacting a person, nobody's getting that person attention so that they can receive. Everybody's trying to take from them. They don't want to give to the person, they avoided them.
Right.
It is a person under contract that's subject to F and subject to E and subject to A. So AEF
Mm-hmm.
is going to be very important to this notice or notification of it when we do
Right.
a contract versus doing things on an agreement in which another person may know about. So when you got that statement, that was according to what that person know and know only, and that was for agreement. But then there's the person who has knowledge of things under contract. Do you understand?
Right. Yep.
We want to bring them together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Persons. This is how we have person to person transactions.
Nice. Yep.
But we got the idea that there was already more than one person all the way up above. And A, just by looking at things that was conspicuous. However, if you missed it or if that person wasn't important to A and E, they put apostrophe S so that you can understand that these persons are important.
Right. And there's multiple.
Absolutely. So now I'm going to go into the detail. E, subject to subsection F, a person gives a notification or a person gives or receives a notification when one, it comes to the person's attention, or two, it is duly delivered in a form reasonable under the circumstance at a place of business through which the contract was made. So that means that if you got a statement from a
Mhm.
place in which an agreement was made, you looking for another statement from a place in which a contract was made. So that
Right.
means that you're always missing something. And it's a document. That is what was not duly delivered to you in a form. You have forms, but it's a document missing. And I'm going to show y'all that in LA too when it comes to banking. Where is this
Mm.
document that was missing from this business? I didn't have it all along. You're going to see it be provided and given in communications because at another location that's held out by the person who sent you the notice, they're waiting for a place of receipt of such communications. So that means that an individual subject to F need to start communicating so that another person at another location under contract can provide a document and duly deliver all of the facts and not just a fact. They're waiting to receive it all. Only an individual can help with that as it relates to getting a person's attention because we have eyes. We can see. We can talk. We have attention in the head, the top of our head, and our eyes on the side of our head, in the middle. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's why
They
those
make it payable to
yeah,
another person at another address. You should see that
exactly. That's why those addresses are there. That's why they use those addresses.
because they are waiting
Yeah.
at their very own place of business and not at your house to
Yeah.
receive communications as it relates to what was duly delivered to you and from you in a form. They want
Exactly.
that form. That form,
Yeah,
they need that. It's left open for them.
right.
It was
Exactly.
it was made for them in the contract, not for you. So don't get too caught up in what's missing. Just see to it that is added and it applies.
Totally. Applied
So F,
according to the UCC
yeah.
and whatever context.
Whether it is the context of an agreement or contract.
Right.
So just like I let you guys know, common law, agreement, contract law, and then universal law.
Yeah. Right.
F has been a big deal in A and E, and that's because the individual is engaged and involved in that. A lot of individuals don't know, but whether they know it or not, a person was just trying to get their attention so that they can notify another person so that they can be given what they notified you of. Payment. How do you feel? They wasn't trying to
Good.
collect the debt from you. They were just
Right.
trying to collect information from you.
Yeah. In communication.
So F, notice, knowledge, organization, and event, person. So a person is going to be an event and an organization is going to be an event from time to time. You're going to be dealing with a person. That person is going to be dealing with an organization. So from time to time, you're going to be doing things for both of them. A person who is conducting the transaction with you and an organization who has an effective particular transaction. The organization is held out because they're at another place of business waiting for receipt of communications. Before you can even get to the organization or that person to make a particular transaction effective, you have to go through the person. And the person told you who the person was, or a person told you who the person was. You have to
Awesome.
communicate. How do you feel? Also, individuals are conspicuous as that as well. I missed one. There's individuals with apostrophe S.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
Mhm. Letting me know that there's an
Yeah.
individual person and
Yeah.
there's an individual who works for the organization. Those are the only ones that matter. The persons don't matter. You're not a person.
Mm, yes. Cool. It's really cool.
So
Yeah.
to go into detail, notice, knowledge, or a notice or notification received by an organization is effective for a particular transaction from the time it is brought to the attention of the individual conducting that transaction. So from the moment that you have been involved in a transaction that involves it, they have gotten your attention. I'm pretty sure. Every time we get our bills, they get our attention. Do you
Right.
understand?
Yep.
They have got your attention, but the transaction in which they're getting your attention in is for an organization to continue its action, not you. It's effective for
Yeah.
a particular transaction for the organization for business, not necessarily for you for an individual. If it's connected for you as an individual, it's no longer personal, it's now for family purposes because you have just got it at your house that it affects your whole family.
Right. Right.
How do you feel?
Yeah. That looks very clear.
Not only that, they have an and in any event that may include you or your family from the time it would have been brought to the individual's attention if the organization had exercised due diligence. So what they're doing is bringing some things to individuals' attention within a home and you that there's some things that the organization need to do. They had not yet performed or exercised due diligence. Do you understand? The
Yeah.
organization wasn't involved. The person was.
Right.
So that means that if a bank was involved before, then the organization like Capital One Navy Federal, they get the benefit later. The banks come first. The person come first.
Awesome.
And
Yep.
that's by agreement. So it's
Right.
always back on the bank. How do you feel?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's that's getting so clear with how you're reading it. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. An organization exercises due diligence if it maintains reasonable routines for communicating significant information to the person
Yeah.
conducting the transaction. So, reasonable routines is to inform you duly by delivery first. You should probably follow up